Good day, everyone. We are the Group 6 and we are here to present to you a report on the given topic about employee. But before that, let me read you the contents of the whole presentation. The first one, employee, types of employees, employee engagement theory, employee engagement drivers, advantages of being an employee, disadvantages of being an employee, and last, disadvantages of being an employer. Let's proceed to the first part, employee. So what makes one worker an employee and another not an employee? It can be confusing to determine which is which, but it's essential that you understand the difference. So let's take a look at who is an employee and what is an employee. Who is an employee? An employee is someone you hire and pay for their work, which you use to benefit your business. But not all workers you hire and pay are employees. So you must determine the workers' classification. So what is this workers' classification? That includes behavioral, financial, and relational control. So you must consider your control over them, over your employees. In behavioral control, if you control and have the right to control what the worker does and how the worker does their job, if so, the worker might be an employee. In financial control, if you control the business aspects of the worker's job, this includes like how the worker is paid, whether expenses are reimbursed, and who provides tools and supplies. If you control business aspects, then the worker is an employee. In relational control, or the type of relationship, if there are any written contracts or employee type benefits, that includes retirement plans, insurance, vacation, or sick pay, will your relationship with the worker continue? Is the worker perform a key aspect of your business? If you answered yes to these things, then the worker is probably an employee. Here's the other definition. An employee is someone who gets paid to work for a person or company. Workers don't need to work full-time to be considered employees. They simply need to be paid to work by an employer, the person or business that pays them. To simply understand, an employer is a person, company, or organization that employs people, pays them for work. And that people who are paid to work are called employees. For example, sa McDonald's, nag-apply ka doon as a worker. Then you were hired by the employer. And that employer can be a manager or a staff. Once you were hired, then you will be considered as an employee. Because you have contracts, you have compensation, you were paid for your services, and they have their control over the employee. Let's proceed to the next slide. So here are some key in order to understand more what is an employee. And I will give also the differences between employees and entrepreneurs. Employees seek direction. Kapag nagkakaproblema ang mga employees, they will ask help from the higher position. For example, let's say entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs create the solution to keep the organization moving forward. So, they will guide the employees to the right path. Next, employees do. It's the employees who get most of the work done in any organization. But in order for them to do it well, meron tayong entrepreneur that will listen to their needs and ensure to maintain a productive and positive work environment for the staff. Next, employees take fewer risks. So while doing things, the safest way can actually be good for an organization. It takes a risk-tolerant entrepreneur to believe in and build the organization in the first place. So, entrepreneurs live for the employees. Next, employees are often specialists. So, yung mga entrepreneurs, kailangan nilang matutunan lahat ng bagay para matulungan nila, ma-empower nila yung mga specialist employees na nagtatrabaho sa kanila. Specialist, that means they are working for a specific job. Next, employees get paid for their role. So, mga employees, nababayaran sila dahil sa services nila, dahil sa labor, sa work nila. Next, employees love holidays because they get the day off. So, yung mga employees, talagang meron silang nakalaan na day off or holidays. Next, employees appreciate steady employment. So, employees have a safe workplace, safe environment to build a business. And they don't need to sacrifice steady employment in order to build the company because they have a comfortable job security. Next, employees follow rules. So, yung mga employees, kailangan nilang sumunod sa mga regulasyon sa isang company in order to create a successful business. They should not break a rule to set a good status and to be a good employees. Next, employees are responsible for some decisions. So, hindi lahat ng bagay ay hawak ng mga nakakataas pagdating sa decision making ng buong levels sa isang organization. May mga responsibilidad din ang mga employee sa ibang mga desisyon na gagawin para sa ikabubuti ng kumpanya. Lastly, employees execute tasks. So, yung mga employees, sila yung mga taga-sagawa sa mga ginagawang plano ng mga nakakataas para sa kanilang business plan. Next, let's talk about the employees' goal, cash flow, roles and responsibilities, and the level of authority. So, the first one is their goal. Bakit nga ba sila nagtatrabaho? Ano nga ba yung goal nila? So, bukod sa makatulong sa pagiging successful ng isang organization, their goal is to be able to financially support themselves and their families. At para makaipon din sila para sa kanilang financial security. Next, cash flow. They receives the salary as an addition and in turn contributes to generating more income for the employer. Employees get paid a salary in exchange for their efforts. So, nagtatrabaho sila at nakaka-receive ng sweldo in return sa services na binigay nila sa employer or sa organisasyon. Next, roles and responsibilities. They serve the employer faithfully, follow the rules, honor the contract of employment, and uphold loyalty and diligence in service. Ang mga employee ay responsibilidad nilang maging tapat at totoo sa organisasyon na kanilang pinagtatrabahuan at dapat nilang gampanan ang kanilang mga tungkulin ng may dignidad na umaayon sa pamantayan. Next, level of authority. Employee has authority only over employees at lower levels. So, according to their job role, may mga employee ding nasa lower level. So, an employee only has authority over the people who work for them. So, let's proceed to the next part of the presentation. May I call on Marcos Tadeo to give you the types of employees.
The three types of employees: engage, not engage, actively disengage. Engage employees. Ang mga empleyadong ito ay nagtatrabaho ng may hilig at nakakaramdam ng malalim na koneksyon sa kanilang kumpanya. Not engaged employees. Ang mga empleyadong ito ay mahalagang naka-check out. Sila ay parang natutulog sa pamamagitan ng kanilang araw ng trabaho. Paglalagay ng oras ngunit hindi enerhiya o walang kagustuhan sa kanilang trabaho. Actively disengaged. Hindi lang masaya sa trabaho ang mga actively disengaged na empleyado. Abala sila sa pag-aakto ng kanilang kalungkutan. Araw-araw sinisira ng mga manggagawang ito ang nagagawa ng kanilang mga katrabaho. Types of employees: full-time employees, part-time employees, seasonal employees, temporary employees. Ang mga full-time employee ay karaniwang nagtatrabaho ng 40 hours sa isang linggo at karapat-dapat para sa mga benepisyo tulad ng kalusugan, dental, araw ng bakasyon at bayad na oras. Ang part-time na empleyado ay nagtatrabaho ng mas bababa sa 40 hours kung saan ang mga full-time empleyado ay nag-orasan para at maaaring hindi sila swelduhan tulad ng isang full-time na empleyado. Ang mga seasonal employees ay mga individual na kinikuha sa maikling panahon batay sa mga pangangailangan ng isang kumpanya. Ang mga temporaryong empleyado naman ay karaniwang kinukuha sa pansamantalang batayan para sa isang takdang panahon tulad ng 6 na buwan. Maaari silang kunin upang magtrabaho sa isang partikular na proyekto at huminto sa pagtatrabaho para sa kumpanya kapag kumpleto na ang proyekto.
Jesabel Tañeza, and I'm here to report about employee engagement theory. Discover the theory as proposed by organizational psychologist William A. Kahn, the so-called father of employee engagement. The theory of employee engagement, when stated simple, look like common sense. According to the theory, leaders of an organizational must ensure that all their staff members are fully engaged, that they are fully switched on at their jobs. This idea is that the staff is fully committed. In the same way, entrepreneurs care for their business or people in general look after their own household. Being engaged simple means that you are fully involved and interested in the work so that it really holds your attention and inspires you to do your best. What is employee engagement? William Kahn provided the first formal definition of employee engagement as the harnessing of organization members self to their work rules. In engagement, people employ and express themselves physically, cognitively, and emotionally during role performances. Employee engagement theory is the informal idea that by challenging, supporting, and inspiring employees, organizations increase the satisfactions and maximize the output of the staff. According to this theory, companies with high levels of worker motivations and loyalty enjoy employee engagement benefits such as a lower turnover and less absenteeism, higher customer satisfaction, bigger bottom lines, and increased creativity and innovation. Employee engagement is about how to achieve a company strategy goals by creating the conditions of human resources to thrive and for each staff members, manager, and executive to be fully switched on in their job so as to deliver their best efforts in the best interest of the business. To expand on this definition, we can say that employee engagement is also a two-way street, a reciprocal relationship of trust and respect between employer and employee. It requires an organization, executive, and manager to communicate their expectations clearly and extensively with employees, empower and employees at the appropriate levels of their competence, and create a working environment and corporate culture in which which engagement will thrive. It's fair to say that employee engagement theory revolutionized management practices. Thanks to William Kahn, every business can better understand how best to improve employee engagement.
Hello everyone, I'm Raquipo and I will be reporting the three main factors of employee engagement, which are meaningfulness, safety, and availability. William Kahn defined engagement as an employee's ability to harness their full self at work and identified three main factors that enable it and affect whether an employee can meaningfully connect with the organizational mission, company, culture, and daily tasks of the role. In the first factor of employee engagement, which is meaningfulness, we are seeking to find the answer in the question, does an employee find their work meaningful enough to the organization and to society to warrant them engaging their full self? So what does meaningfulness means? Meaningfulness refers to the embodied by our meaningful work driver. In practice, that means business need to make sure that each employee understands the value and impact their role has on the whole. It's this genuine appreciation for making a contribution that motivates individuals to commit themselves fully to their role. The next factor is safety. In this factor, we are seeking to find the answer in the question, does the employee feel safe bringing their full self to work without risk of negative consequences? Safety Kahn's concept of safety in our freedom of opinions driver, work should be a safe place for employees to voice their views without a fear of reprisals. Without psychological safety, employees won't be able to contribute actively on a daily basis. And the last factor of self-engagement, which is availability, we are seeking to find the answer in the question, does the employee feel mentally and physically able to harness their full set at this particular moment? So what does availability means? So availability concept encompasses many aspects of workplace. The physical environment needs to be right for a person to apply themselves. It is an employee's capacity to perform a role both physically and mentally. Management support and peer relationships reflect the interpersonal connections that enable an employee to harness their full self. All in all, the goal is to make sure that we are creating the right environment and culture for engagement to flourish.
The truth is that at times, working as a well-compensated employee with additional benefits is a much better path to take. Every individual is unique in what they can achieve and in the choices that work better for them. At the end of the day, whether you are an employee or an entrepreneur, there are pros and cons to each side, and it is your call to choose your path. So in this slide, we delve into what the advantages and disadvantages of being an employee are. But before we proceed, let me introduce you myself. I'm Michelle JC Paynohon from BS Cream 23. Advantages of being an employee. Here are some of the advantages of working as an employee. The first one, assurance of getting a paycheck. So there is a level of certainty that keeps humans at peace, especially when it comes to matters of one's income. As an employee, one has assurance of receiving their stipulated income at the end of each month or year, irrespective of the company's situation or unexpected events that might occur. For instance, whether there is a technical problem that hinders you from being productive at work for some time, or there is little to do at the office on certain days, you are certain that your paycheck is guaranteed. Next, privilege of being paid on vacation days. One common benefit of being an employee is that you get paid on vacation days and even on sick days. This means that even if there are a ton of vacation days or certain days you fall sick within the year, you have the freedom of getting work-free days without fearing for a salary reduction. Though self-employed people may have the luxury of choosing their work's schedule, they might need to pause their work and forgo being paid for it in order to enjoy some vacation days. Next, enjoying leave and holidays. Employees usually have certain times available within the year where they are allowed some time off to enjoy the holidays or just go on paid leave. On these days, they may decide to use it to work on their own personal goals, such as building relationships, pursuing a hobby, exercising, or just getting some rest. These leave days and holidays give employees the opportunity to refresh themselves and assess their personal lives. In doing so, they can return to their usual schedule, revived and full of energy because they have had enough time to rejuvenate. The following advantages will be explained by the next presenter.
Fixed working hour. Before one agrees to work with a company as an employee, a decision is made between the organization and the individual involved to reach an agreement on the number of working hours they would have to put in. Once an agreed time is outlined in the contract, the employee is aware that they have this number of fixed working hours. A defined working structure. Another advantage of working as an employee is that each day you attend to your duties, you are aware of the tasks that you need to accomplish. Employees are content with the mere comfort of knowing that they can confidently schedule their work week without worrying about as unchange in structure of their work of their daily schedule. Other great benefits. Employees often enjoy additional benefits such as health insurance for themselves and for their family, insurance packages, company shares, retirement benefits, as well as other bonuses that either help them save more each month or free them from worrying about certain expenses. Let's worry about taxes. Since payroll and human resources department in companies take care of all this calculation, employees do not need to bear the pain of since their salaries drastically reduced to taxes. They also do not need to bother about actually making the effort to pay tax-related costs of self-employment taxes, since they are taken care of before they receive their take-home salaries. Responsibilities. When working as an employee, you are given a particular role to perform, hence are only responsible for ensuring that those tasks assigned to that role and executed throughout your period of work. You ultimately do not have to bother yourself about the tasks others are performing or worry whether they are fulfilling their responsibilities.
Hello everyone, I'm Romnick L Trinidad, and these are the disadvantages of being employee. Limited income level. This is certainly the most obvious disadvantage of working as employee. While entrepreneurs can expand their income vastly over the years, employee incomes are capped due to several factors. The main reason is that since an employee does not own the business, lack of control. As an employee, you simply do not have that much control over the final decisions that are made within your organization, whether they affect you positively or negatively. Dealing with a micromanaging boss. Most employees end up quitting their jobs because of their boss or supervisor's attitude towards them. There are several factors that could account for this, including the pressure of that boss constantly criticizing your work, not being paid your work, despite the fact that some companies include a awesome benefit in their compensation package. Employees tend to feel the draw when it comes to their take-home salary. Force schedule. Employees whose companies utilize shifts system are usually at the mercy of whatever schedules are outlined for them. For instance, if the employer scheduled you to work second shifts that go into the night instead of first shifts for a long period, you might have no option but to adjust your lifestyle to suit the schedule. Reduce opportunities for development. Being tied to the particular industry or working in a specific role throughout the span of your employment could reduce one's professional development scope massively. Job security. One of the major disadvantages of working as an employee is that job security is not totally guaranteed. While an employee may be assured of a stable income at the end of the month, the job itself not guaranteed for life. Restriction on self-expression. Particularly, your people who naturally loves to assert their individuality and uniqueness, working as an employee can be disadvantage for them. Companies can place certain restrictions on their dress codes, hairstyles, and other adornments through policies, hence hindering self-expression. Stagnation. Working as an employee can cause you to become stagnant in your career and in life. This expressly true when you decide to work long-term with a particular employer. Employees can become very comfortable with their salary, the work environment, the amount of work they are asked to do, and just to remain content that they get to have a job. Lack of fulfillment. Become an employee comes with its own benefits. However, it is possible to work this way for years without truly finding fulfillment. The main idea of working as an employee is to offer a service for the benefits of the company. Some of the services employees offer are of no personal value to them, yet they have a repeatedly do them because they've been asked to. Two drawback of having to work for others is that you be completing tasks just to earn a paycheck and not because it is something you love to do or something that you gives you inner fulfillment.
Hello sir, I am Rico B. Patricio from PS Cream 2-3 and I want to discuss the disadvantages of being an employer. Number 1, employee burnout. Pushing full-time employees too hard can kill the golden goose and make them less productive. It means, itong employer na ito, pinupush niya na magtrabaho itong empleyado niya. Halos inaabuso niya na yung karapatan nilang magpahinga. And then, syempre, nagkakaroon ito ng bad effect, especially sa product nila. Less productive and low quality of a product, especially the services. Number 2, lower levels of engagement. They may not contribute as much to company culture or be motivated to achieve company goals. It means na itong employer na ito halos wala siyang contribute sa kanilang company, and then hindi niya pa minomotivate itong mga empleyado niya na galingan yung trabaho nila para ma-achieve nila yung mission or goals ng company. Number 3 is less dependable. May feel less beholden to their employer's needs because there is less involvement and commitment. It means itong employer na ito, hindi niya masyadong pinapansin itong mga empleyado niya. Especially sa pagtatrabaho na kung saan nagkakaroon ito ng bad effect, especially sa commitment, kakaunting commitment or achievement ng isang company. That's all, and thank you.